What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan, and today we're going all in. Psychology says a lot of things. Psychology says. It's like, oh, Confucius say. I don't even understand that phrase. Have you ever heard that phrase before? I don't even know what it means. I mean, Confucius was a dude. But anyways, psychology says. I love psychology. I absolutely love it because there's a lot of things that have been studied and proven over years, and it gives you insight into how people think. And it's just freaking awesome, even better when I say insight into how people think, so you can relate and react and act and just get along with people in the world. One reason I really, really love psychology is because it actually gives me more information on how I think. And I'm able to dive into what's going on in my head and sometimes the craziness that's there in order to correct a thought process. Because, I mean, when we're born into this world, we've had no traumas at that point. We haven't been talked down to, we haven't been yelled at, haven't been hit, haven't gone through a toxic relationship, haven't had anyone close to us pass away. There's all these things that we haven't experienced yet. So it's like when we're in that perfect state when we're born, you know, and there's certain things, right? Studies, obviously, that are out there. I'm going to get all the people that are like, no, wait, you know, babies can hear things in the womb. Of course they can. That's not my point. So stay with me here. Track with me. Don't dive into stupid stuff that I'm not saying. All right. So psychology says a lot of things, and it helps you understand yourself. It helps you dive into more of your subconscious and really the reason why you're wired the way that you're wired. That's why there's these books in an entire category called self-help. Self-help is nothing more than psychology. That's it. You know, a lot of people that write these kinds of books, like myself, are untrained in psychology, but probably unlike myself, a lot of others probably don't dive deep into the studies before they write the books. I dive deep into the studies and I love it. And there's some of my favorite things that I'm going to share with you today that actually will make sense. And after you're done hearing all this stuff, you'll be able to feel better now as you move forward about these, because it's just going to be like a burden that's lifted off you when you start to recognize some of these things and change some of your thought patterns. All right, so psychology does say this, right? This is the first thing I'm going to tell you. Don't overshare. We have this propensity, right, to actually say too much to people about what's going on in our lives. You know, we start to tell them certain things, but there's a reason why we overshare, and I'll get to that in a second here. But when we get excited about something, we want to share something super awesome that's going on in our life with people that are close to us, or really anybody. Like scream it from a mountaintop how good things are going, how awesome stuff is, something you just accomplished. You absolutely should celebrate those things, by all means, right? But here's the thing. A lot of people will overshare because they're looking for some kind of validation for other people, and that's a bad gig. Privacy is power, everyone. People cannot ruin what they don't know. Because if you're doing this out of a good reason, when you're sharing something out of excitement and all that, or even if it's out of excitement and you might get a backlash from somebody, be like, oh, okay, whatever. Or be like, well, I don't like that. Or, you know, well, what I do, you know, when I do something like this, that's great that you're going to get some help for yourself. But when I do something like this, you know, and all I want to do is just go down deeper, darker into my hole because it makes me think more about the stuff. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, why did I even open my mouth? Exactly. Why did you even open your mouth? There's certain things, and you have to start to recognize this, because when you put energy into people, and this has to do with when you start to recognize the circle that's around you and be aware of the people who are around you. If there's individuals that are already negative, don't freaking say a word to them. Come on now. That privacy is your power. Keep your power. Retain that privacy. That way they can't ruin what they don't know. They don't know what you did to achieve that. They don't know what your vision, what your dreams are, what you're going after in life. And when you're doing that and sharing that, all that does is like hold up a mirror to them. So of course they're going to try to tear you down. You need safe people to share some super cool shit with, okay? Safe people. The unsafe people, stop talking. Right? Hear them, hold space for them, but for you, don't send it back the other way. Don't let them ruin what they don't know. All right, another thing is, and this one's huge for me. I've been starting to preach this one for like the last 6 months or so because it's so valid. You know, and when I look at this stuff too, when I start to coach and and train people around me in this way, and when it starts to work its way into the show here, it's really because I've been already working on this on myself for like the past 6 to 12 months. I want you to know that, because there's nothing that I bring up on the show that I haven't been working on my own self for the past eons, right? For years. This is all stuff that I've been going through. It's not new concepts to me. They're not novel to me. They might be to you, but it's things that I've gone through it already. I mean, even with like a tax program I just did, the ERC program, before I started recommending it to other people, I wanted to go through it myself to make sure it was legit. I care about the value of information and truth that I bring to people. So when I say this stuff to you, you have to understand that I've already worked through this. I've already tried it. It's already been tested by me. I'm only always going to tell you something that's actually worth hearing. Oh, this one has been resonating with me in the past recent months of don't take everyone personally, or don't take everything personally, even everyone. This is kind of blunt, but not everybody thinks about you all the time. Okay? They might just thinking about getting the job done. They might just be thinking about, if it's your partner with your kids, just trying to provide for the kids or do something for them or whatever, right? Nobody thinks about you as much as you do. That's just fact. And this was like a hard-hitting one for me, and it's relieving. It's kind of humorous too, right? If you want to take offense to it, whatever. I don't freaking care. Why? Because you're taking it personally right now. Ha! Gotcha. Not everybody thinks about you as much as you think that they do. And especially not as much as you think about yourself. When you stop taking everything personally, you will find yourself more productive. You will find yourself more successful. You will find yourself more energetic. You will be happier. I like that. This next one here that psychology says, and this is like ages of studies. Tony Robbins even phrases this in a great way, but what psychology says is when you focus on your problems, you're going to have more problems. When you focus on your solution, all you'll see is opportunities. Right? When you focus on bad shit, all you're going to see is more bad shit. When you focus on good shit, all you're going to see is more good shit. Tony Robbins says it like this. It's very simple. What you focus on grows. So if you focus on the bad's going to continue growing. Even worse. Exponentially worse. It's going to become this spiral of death that you're going to fall into, and then you're going to think, why am I even alive? Because I got all this bad shit happening. But when you focus on the good stuff, and this is why gratitude is so important. When you set your frame in the beginning of the day with gratitude, and when you set your frame before you go to bed with gratitude, even if you had one of the worst days ever, you can always find one thing. We used to have a segment on the show called One Thing. You can always look back at your day and find at least one thing that you can be grateful for, no matter how bad it seems like it is. And when you focus on those good things that you are grateful for, you will start to see more good things that you can be grateful for. And all of a sudden, the bad stuff, it's like magic. It just like works itself out. Not really, but when you focus on the good things, you start to recognize that, hey, I have more resources, so I can handle this stuff. Hey, I actually have people around me that support me because I'm grateful for these specific people in my life. Oh, now I can go tackle this bad stuff. Oh, you know what? I've got these other things going on. I've got these opportunities that just came up. You know what? That's looking towards the future. I have a future. I'm grateful I have a future. Oh, that bad stuff doesn't seem so bad anymore. I think it's just going to work itself out. See how that works? That's exactly how that works. There's a lot more of these things, but that was the one I wanted to end with today because it's so important to have gratitude. And that sets the frame for all of these things that I talked about today, because psychology says